Hello and welcome to the video for Tuesday, September 29th for interactive design. Hello.
Hi.
Is that more Panama back there?
Yes.
Wow, that's cool. It looks like a carnival.
That's the Pacific Ocean.
That's the Pacific?
The Pacific Ocean.
Okay. And then Panama stretches to the Atlantic as well.
Yes.
And so do the coasts look very different?
Yes, they are totally different.
Like what is is one like the Pacific Ocean is famous for being very chill and
Hello.
relaxed. Is like that coast very chill and relaxed and the other one is more busy?
Yes, also the Pacific Ocean has a lot of more wave. The Atlantic is very clear. The water is very clear and it's more calm.
Okay, cool. Wow. Well, so this is the Pacific.
Yes.
Wow, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Trevor wrote in a joke. What do mummies listen to on Halloween rap music?
Ah,
Hey James, how are you?
doing great.
Great, good to see you.
Yeah, I I I figured out the problem, but with my Adobe programs. Yeah, I was an idiot. I signed into my personal account, not the school company account.
Okay.
Which which I resolved the problem just by going to the West Campus. But other than that, I other than that, I'm doing great. I need to double time on my assignments though. I do know that.
Oh no, that's cool. Yeah, no problem. I mean, I can give you extra time to finish those.
Thank you.
Um, okay, cool. Well, let me go ahead and take the attendance here, and then we'll get started. So let's see. I got to log in to the Pima website. .edu. And put in some attendance. All right, interactive design. And then update the people. And look at the list. Okay, and back to Zoom. Okay. Well, hello, you guys. Are you having a good day? Everybody doing okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
doing pretty decent.
Anybody have any interesting news? Anything of relevance or excitement happened to you over the weekend?
Nope. No, and thank goodness.
Nothing?
No,
Have you donated all the fun in your life to another person?
no, not at all.
Oh yeah. Okay. I totally get that. Um, yeah, I think someone stole all the fun out of my life while I was asleep.
I know. The Sandman's out there stealing fun now.
Yeah, no kidding. He's like off, like traveling around the world, using my
Oh,
bank account. I'm sure he's using my bank account because I didn't spend all that money.
alright.
Trevor says, I mean, I survived a Saturday with friends. Yeah, I can only imagine what that's like, Trevor. Um, okay, cool. Well, let's see. Let me go to class website. Dreamco and interactive design. Okay, so Latisse, are you still working on your presentation?
No, I'm done. I'm just over it. I threw it in there.
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like it's kind of boring, but I think
But
it's
we love boring.
no, we don't love boring because my presentation is also boring. So whoever needs to take a nap, heads up.
All right, nap time. Far out. Far out. Okay, I'm in your folder, and oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff in this folder. Wow.
Right.
Is it the DAR 252 folder? Must be, right?
I don't know why I can't see your screen, Greg. What am I doing wrong?
Oh, well, here, I will show you my screen, and then you can tell me. I typed your name into Google, and
Oh, it's showing you everything in
it's showing me everything that you've ever shared with me. So but I found
right there. It's in 252.
this one right here.
No, the folder 252, the first one. I'm thinking, yeah,
Which one?
projects.
Projects?
Contour covers under files.
Which one?
Under files.
Under files?
Yeah.
Is
And
it?
then yeah, right there. It was taking forever to load, so I hope you can open it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a big file, huh?
I don't know what was going on about that. Like just midway in between working on it, everything just got super big and the computer started to get super laggy. So I
Okay.
don't know. I might have to delete all the old stuff.
Okay. That's probably not a bad idea anyway, right?
Yeah, for sure. So if it doesn't open, I'll mess with it. No, that's not it.
That's not it?
Well, I don't know. That's not my font.
No, well, it says it screwed up your font.
Oh no.
Um,
And it screwed up my format,
it screwed up your format too?
at least on that last frame.
Okay. Should
Yeah.
we look at it?
Nah, I'm gonna finagle with it and then I'll redrop it.
So you don't want us to look at this one?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Thanks though.
Okay.
So your nap is officially cut in half, you guys.
Okay. So I'm gonna close this one. All right. Okay. So let's see. Who else has got like something, an idea for their Halloween project?
I have in my folder.
Okay, you have in your folder. Okay, Olivia.
Is the idea.
It's in this folder?
Yes, that is.
Okay. So, kit for pandemic video party at Halloween, or to share your photos or videos on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok and be the life of the party. Everybody alone in their homes. Okay, demographic 18 and up if your body can stand it. Price $79.99. Contents of the kit. Halloween t-shirt. Let's be realistic. You are home alone. One flyer with ideas on how to cut and make holes in your t-shirt to make it sexier. One jack in a box so you can scare yourself. One doorbell ringtone and a bag of assorted candies so you can fake that someone is doing trick or treat at your door. One first place ribbon so you can brag of winning the costume contest. One streaming code. If the party is boring, you can go to your room and watch one of those movies, Hocus Pocus, Beetlejuice, Halloween, or one of the Saw franchise. Note, code valid for only 24 hours after redeemed. One disposable orange mask if you still feel unsafe from the virus alone in your home. And then for $54.99 additional, a life-size cutout of a beautiful young woman in a witch costume so you can fake picking her up. A life-size cutout of a mysterious, handsome man you can choose to hang out with or ignore. 10 models and 6 sizes to choose from. Or just an alien, do whatever you want. You don't need to be alone.
And that's my idea.
All right. What do you guys think? You got some feedback for Olivia?
That looks really funny.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, for the Halloween movies that you selected, no Nightmare Before Christmas, no The Grudge, none of those. Because I'll take those.
Yeah, I think it's really fun. So let's see. So your idea is that this is all you basically just gave us the whole concept and then you're going to animate all that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, okay. Let me think for a second. So yeah, I think it's a really good idea. Do you have an idea for like music or something or?
Yes, I have an idea how to animate that. Can I say it in Spanish because it's difficult in English? Or
Yeah.
you're going to wait for my animatic?
Okay. Okay. Let me see. So there's going to be cool music. Okay. And then everything's going to be text, right? All of this information is going to be communicated via text.
Not only text, image and text. A
Okay.
little text.
Image and text. Okay.
Little text.
Okay. I mean, it sounds really good. It sounds super fun. Um, do any of you guys have any questions or any ideas at all about this? I mean, clearly it's very funny. Um, you can almost see it being a real thing, couldn't you? Like somebody really offering this for sale.
Yeah, with what's going on.
Yeah, with what's going on, and I mean, well, for one thing, it'd be a really funny gift to send to somebody, don't you think, for Halloween? Um, somebody that like has been complaining about being stuck home alone, and so you send it, they get this package, and it's like the Halloween party kit. Um, I think that would be really funny. So yeah, I think that it's a great idea, and it looks like I said, like it could be a feasible product. So I look forward to seeing it. I don't think anybody has anything to add to it because it's really very complete. So good job. It's very nice. Um, okay, I like that picture. It looks great. All right. Now, does anybody else have an idea for their Halloween project?
I have a question. What exactly is the Halloween project?
So the Halloween project, let me go to the website and go down, 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 down. Oh, here we go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So it says make an ad to sell a product or service related to Halloween. It's an HTML5 canvas ad, and then it tells you to go to File, New Ads, Inline Rectangle, 300 by 250, and hit Create. I'm going to try that right now, see, make sure it works. So we go File, New Ads, Inline Rectangle, 300 by 250. Okay, File, New, Ads, Inline Rectangle, Create. Okay, that worked. And then maybe I can blow that up a bit. Okay, so, and then decide what product or service you will sell. It can be real or fake. Who you're selling to, think about your demographic, what they want, and how you appeal to them. What is the current purchasing environment? So this is where Livia thought about, the fact that we're all stuck inside, and so that's how she came up with her product. If you're going to sell masks, think about how the masks would be deployed in this COVID environment. It says your ad should be approximately 30 seconds. It can be a little more, a little less. It'll be on the internet. It says your ad should link to a website. It can be a website related to the ad or a random website. And then I asked you to come up with a written concept for your ad and start collecting assets for your ad, images, music, sketches, etc. And to show us something, show us an idea that you have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have an idea? Let's see. Trevor says, I do, but just some basic text idea, nothing super concrete. All right, Trevor, do you want to share your idea with us in your folder? Okay. Uh, all right. So, don't tell me Halloween ad idea. Pitch, need friends to come to your Halloween party, but don't have friends? Call Rent a Friend and get friends to come to your cool party. Call 1-800-FRIENDS to get 5 friends a bag of candy and assorted costumes for only $35.95. Okay. All right. What do you guys think? Have some ideas, some feedback?
It's fun.
I love that. I need to rent a few friends.
I do too. How much for a long-term rental?
I know, right? Seasonal. I'd want to switch them up about seasonally.
Yeah. Well, this is a good idea, and once again, it ties in. Uh, I mean, I don't know if you're planning on tying it into the whole COVID thing, but like, you
Yes.
know, nowadays people can't go out, so you could say that the friends have been tested. You know, COVID-free friends delivered to your doorstep. You know, or whatever.
Yeah. COVID-free cronies. You should put some mask in your.
Let's see. It says, "Ooh, that sounds like kidnap." I'm not sure what he's referring to. Let's see. Can I get those friends insured? What if I lose one or they get damaged?
That's a great. You should promote the insured friend part.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. Well, it's a really funny concept, and I don't see how you could go wrong with it. I mean, you could just keep developing it. Uh, you know, you could, like I said, you could completely ignore the COVID thing and just have it be friends that you rent. But of course, it'd be more realistic if you added the COVID environment now. So, um, but yeah, I think it's really funny. You know, have um, you know, maybe your price is a little low. Maybe it'd be something like 199.99 or something for a 2 hour Halloween party complete with costumes, candy, and 4 friends or something like that. You know what I mean? Um, so, oh, and you know what? You gotta play up the fact that these fake friends and you will be taking a bunch of pictures and putting them on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. 10 posts per hour. You should
Yeah, right.
upgrade to the deluxe package.
Right. Upgrade to the deluxe package, which includes memes
Yeah.
and oh, and likes from more fake friends. Right.
Ooh. It's even better for more big friends.
Yeah, I mean, you could just turn this thing. You could just keep going up. You know, where what do they call that? Impulse purchases. You know, where you could have all these extras. You know, and for $29.99, you know, now you get this one extra thing. Uh, so it's a really good idea. I like it, and I want to
Great.
see you do it.
I
Um, okay. Does anybody else have a idea, a thought, a direction?
I have like an idea page of pictures in my folder.
Okay. I don't know what the heck this is.
The flex seal. Oh my gosh.
Let's see. I mean, whoa. Okay, that's not the Pima. Let's see. Am I in Pima? Yeah, I'm in Pima. Amelia. Oh, this one. Okay. All right.
So this is a picture of a Halloween advent calendar. When I get when we do a project, I usually pick a thing and then make it based off that. So I've decided my thing is going to be a Halloween advent calendar and candy corn, but I haven't really decided what my project should actually be.
Okay, now when you say an advent calendar, when I look at this house, and you say that, it makes me think you're going to open these doors and there's going to be different information behind each one.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and so you've got that, you've got the Hotel Transylvania, you've got Adventure Time and Candy Corn, and then you have to string all this together somehow.
Well, down there where it says themes and stuff, it's like options. not all of them.
Oh, right. Okay, so they're different options.
Mhm.
Um, Let me ask you about the advent calendar, because what's the purpose of an advent calendar? Is it, I forget, is it just like a bunch of important dates that are based around, is it the religion that they're based around?
So I think there's like some actual Advent calendars in the Christian religion, but I'm talking about like the little fun Advent calendars you can buy at the store, leading up to a holiday, and every day you open the little door and there's something special.
Oh, okay, all right. So it's not specifically tied to the religion. It's more like what you just described, which is it's like there's 30 days to Halloween. Every day you open a door, and like if it's for a kid, then they would get a new piece of candy every day or something, right?
Yeah.
Or something, or a spooky cat or witch comes out or something. Okay, right. So
Yeah.
so then the question is, so is that what you think you're selling, the advent calendar?
Um, I think I want to sell like a Advent calendar from a candy company,
Oh, cool.
maybe the candy corn.
Okay, I have an idea for you. What if it was a candy company and they were marketing to parents, and what happened was, for 29.99 or whatever, you get the calendar, but then you get a bag of various candies. And then what happens is the kid, oh, as long as the kid does his or her homework or chores, they get to open the door, and then they get, that piece of candy.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a starter idea. Do any of you guys have ideas?
I think that's a great idea. And you could even, if you want to keep it all candy corn, you could just switch up the colors of the candy corn or the flavors.
Oh, that's a cool idea too. Yeah. If you want it to be, or you could not, not only just switch the color of the candy corn, but you could maybe the candy corn could be pressed into different shapes. I know candy corn is just this shape here, but maybe there could be candy corn that looks like witches and goblins.
Yeah, like the mellow cream pumpkins, you know?
Yeah, or spiders, all the Halloween stuff. Little houses, the scary houses and brooms.
Yeah,
Um,
bats.
or another way you could go with this is, I don't know. I don't know what's. Maybe it's Trevor's friend's idea that's making me think.
I love that, man. That's awesome.
But maybe you could do something. Maybe this could be the 30-day Halloween torture calendar for your kids. And what it could be is, maybe this is more for adults to have fun with their kids. Maybe it could be 30 days of terrible things you could do to your kids, like, make them clean out the garage, or calisthenics, or turn off their internet for an hour. Like, it could be the adult Halloween fun calendar. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. That's a pretty sick idea, but it's just another take on it. Let's see. Now, Trevor says it's a fun idea. I'd suggest more flavors besides candy corn, but other than that, I like it a lot.
Or you can make it all adult, and your candy corn company could have your candy corn infused with booze. So behind each little door is a little booze candy corn.
Yeah, you could do that. And then I like this other idea from Trevor. He's saying, like, fun facts about Halloween behind every door. That's cool too.
I
So
love that. That's a good idea.
yeah, like, Halloween has a history, and of course there's famous, like where did Halloween start? Why do we have witches? When did candy start being given out? What are some of the kind of creepy stories we never knew about Halloween? That would be fun to have that information behind every door, in addition to getting a prize or a candy, or whatever.
Or maybe the information is the history of candy corn in the candy company.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, so yeah, that seems really cool. And then, your animation could be, you could start out with the whole entire view of the house, and then some text that explains what happens, and then you could zoom in on the doors, and then, you could open a door and show what's behind one, and then the whole house could move over, and it opens the next door. and there's fun text behind it and a little candy. Maybe there's like a little candy corn that like is kind of sitting in the front or whatever. Um, yeah, it looks really good. I like the idea. Okay. Any other feedback or suggestions for Amelia on her fun idea here?
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I think this picture, I like your idea about the whole, it's almost kind of like a mood board. And I like the idea of one object just inspiring the whole thing. And this one is definitely a good one.
Yeah, yeah. So about the alcoholic candy corn idea. If only there's like an alcoholic cider flavored candy corn, then I'm sold.
Yeah,
Okay.
sparkling cider.
Right. So there could be two versions. The one for kids, which is like perfectly acceptable, and then the one for adults where it's like, uh, you know, meet your drug dealer in the garage and get your cocaine.
Yeah, yeah. Go out back to the Kmart. That's right there.
Or it could be like Halloween in the hood, and like
I love Halloween in the Hood.
if you stand on the porch too long, there's a drive-by or something.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. Uh, or I don't know. Whatever you want to do. It's really fun. Okay. All right. So who else has a idea? Let's see. Spike, did you come up with anything? You have any thoughts, Spike? Oh, Grady has one.
Not really.
Okay, not really, not yet.
No.
Okay. Spike, Grady, you have one. Is it in your folder? Just text for now. Okay, let me check your folder. Okay, Violet Light Halloween Rave, $20 admission, 11 p.m. to 8 a.m., October 30th through 31st. The night with Violet, LEDs, EDM music, Flagstaff, Arizona Forest. Dark and ethereal atmosphere, ad style, black and white, gray violet, silhouette, smoke cloud forest in the background.
Ooh. I'm definitely going, especially for 20 smacks.
For $20, it sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, it sounds like fun in the sun. Or
Well,
in the
yeah, for
moon.
a whole night, right?
Yeah.
Is it like bring your own MDA or whatever that drug's called? What's it called? The MDMA or what is it? MDMA, yeah.
So BYOD, bring
Molly,
your own drugs.
right, Molly. Thank you. So this is how out of touch I am. Like all I know is that Madonna used a version of MDMA on one of her tours, like MDNA to show that it was Madonna, but it was like a takeoff on the MDMA. Yeah. Okay. So bring your own Molly. Okay. So let's see. So I would assume this would be a costume thing.
What is Violet Light? Is that a DJ?
What's that?
I'm asking what Violet Light, would that be like a DJ that's being promoted? Or is that just the name of the event?
Yeah. So it looks like he's going to have violet LEDs in the forest.
Night with Violet.
Uh, just the name, multiple DJs. Okay.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's one thought. Like, are you gonna advertise the DJs? Like, can you make up these fun like DJ Smack and stuff like that and show the picture? Or you know, so like in a real ad, the DJs are the for rave. I imagine the DJs are the draw, right? Okay. So, well, it seems like a great idea, and you have a lot of stuff that you sketched out here. You have the date, the cost, you have the location, so it all seems very real. You have the hooks, which are the LEDs, and then the DJs. You've got a style, and it seems, are you definitely going to have some music in the background of this,
Ooh,
uh,
headphones.
like some of the EDM music? Possibly. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's really good. I don't, other than the ideas we've talked about, it seems like a really
It's so.
good idea. Now, I
Yeah.
have a question for you. I mean, I know we're just doing an assignment here, but do people really advertise stuff like this, like on the internet? Because the only time I've ever seen stuff like this is some random flyer sitting in a pizza joint or something like that? Does this stuff, have any of you guys ever seen stuff like this advertised on the internet?
I have.
You
I
have?
went to the Gym and Jam, and I think that was advertised on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. My friend, she. I have a friend who is so into EDM. It's like she posts like a bunch of advertisements about like certain raves and parties and such.
Okay. Yeah, and it says here that Grady got the idea from a rave in Colorado. So I was just curious. I didn't know if those things were, how there's a certain cachet for things that are underground that you only find out from your friends or from a random flyer. I didn't know if this stuff was like all underground or if it was like sort of mainstream in the way that it's advertised. But Trevor says people are raving about it. Pretty funny. Okay. All right, great. So let's see. So Renee, have you got any ideas for Halloween?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do, I'm kind of going back and forth with it. I've been thinking about just advertising they're like glasses, but it's a face shield for like in replace of a mask. But I was going to advertise those so that way people could still do their crazy Halloween makeup.
Oh, that's clever.
It is clever. I love that.
Kind of sell those more, I guess.
Okay, so people they could wear basically whatever they want on their faces, and then they're going to have a the shield over it.
The shield, yes. So that way it shouldn't intrude on going to Halloween parties or, being out and about. They can still wear their mask or their protective shield and, have their crazy do.
I think that's a cool idea. I thought you were going to say that there were going to be like sort of almost like stickers or decals you could put on your shield that would be like the
Oh,
mask.
That's a good idea.
Um, yeah, but either way, it's an excellent idea. I mean, some of these ideas you guys are coming up with are like good enough to deploy, this year because it's such a crazy year with the Halloween. Are any of you guys planning on doing anything for Halloween?
No.
No.
Right. So maybe we all buy Livia's package or Trevor's.
Yeah, definitely gonna get both every time.
depending on
Rented friends.
depending on what kind of party you want to have. Like buy Livia's package if you just want to have a fake party by yourself, and upgrade to Trevor's if you want a fake party with other fake friends. Um, okay, that's a good idea, Renee. I like it. So I look forward to seeing what you're going to do with that.
thank you.
Um, okay, and like, so James, have you got an idea yet?
Not yet. I need to pry on it.
Okay. And then Latisse, what's happening with? Are we not going to see your idea today, or?
I just really started thinking about it today, so.
Okay, not a
But I can
problem.
do my presentation if you like.
Yeah. So I thought let's do that. Let me go back to your folder here.
I don't know. Do I share it from the drive or I can share my screen?
Oh yeah, share your screen. I love it. Let me stop my share and give you the ability to share, and then it's all you.
Okay, how do I share? Boom, shakalaka.
Akalaka.
I'm trying to shock. He wants me to open. Oh my gosh, it might not let me. But let's try.
Well, if it doesn't work, I can open it.
Okay. No, It's like, okay, let me try now. Can you guys see? Can you see?
I see a screen.
You see my background?
Yeah, that's great. I like that. Did you make it?
Yeah,
It's nice.
I'm just fooling around. Can I close this? Anyways. Let me close your guys' mugs. Wait a minute. Okay, so I'm going to talk about one of my favorite elements of design, typography. In essence, typography is the art of arranging letters and text in a way that makes the copy legible, clear, and visually appealing to the reader. And here's a video. It gives you a little history about typography. I found it neat. Oh, wait, we don't have it.
Type is power. Power to express words and ideas visually. It's timeless, but always changing. And that's what we're going to explore. Most people agree that the creator of typography was a German man named Johannes Gutenberg, and yes, he wore a hat like that. Before Gutenberg came along and revolutionized the world of communication, books needed to be scribed by hand, usually by monks, which was very time-consuming and expensive. So Gutenberg created blackletter, the first ever typeface, modeled after the writing of the scribes. Blackletter has thick vertical lines and thin horizontal connectors, which made it great for scribing, but it looked very dense and squished together when printed. Something needed to change. Enter Roman type. This particular typeface is Cambria, which you're probably used to seeing on your word processor, but the first ever Roman typeface was created in the 15th century by the Frenchman Nicolas Jenson. This is his typeface right here. Jenson worked mainly in Venice, Italy, and was inspired by the lettering found on ancient Roman buildings. His letter forms were based on straight lines and regular curves. This made them very clear and legible compared to the dense darkness of blackletter. This legible new typeface was an instant success and quickly spread across Europe, riding on the coattails of the Renaissance. The next major innovation in typography after Roman letters was italics, which are like slanted and stylized versions of Roman type. They were created in the late 15th century by Aldus Manutius from Italy as a way of fitting more letters onto the page and saving money. Now we use italics interspersed in Roman type for emphasis. Aldus Manutius also created the modern comma and semicolon, but that's another story. Type development stayed fairly stagnant until the 18th century in England, when William Caslon created a typeface that set a new standard for legibility. While it wasn't anything radical, it was just what the world was looking for. The style of Caslon's typeface is now referred to as Old Style. A few decades later, another Brit named John Baskerville created a new variety of typeface, which we call transitional. Later still, a Frenchman named Didot and an Italian named Bodoni created typefaces that we have classified as modern. Most serif typefaces fit into one of these three categories, but what does each category mean? An old-style typeface has letters that have thick serifs and low contrast between thick and thin strokes. A transitional typeface has letters with thinner serifs and a higher contrast between thick and thin strokes. And a modern typeface has letters with very thin serifs and extreme contrast between thick and thin strokes. Next, William Caslon's great-grandson, named William Caslon IV, got sick of all of these serifs, so he decided to remove them entirely and made a new kind of typeface called a sans serif. It didn't catch on immediately, but would eventually get really big. During the Second Industrial Revolution, advertising created a need for new typefaces. Letters were made taller and wider, mainly used in large sizes on posters and billboards. Things got pretty weird, but one happy result of all of this experimentation is Egyptian, or slab serif. It has really thick serifs and is usually used for titles. As a backlash to the complexity found in typefaces of the 19th century, the early 20th century brought something simple. Paul Renner from Germany created a typeface called Futura, and it was based on simple geometric shapes. This is called the geometric sans. Around the same time, a British man named Eric Gill created a typeface called Gill Sans that was similar to a geometric sans, but with gentler, more natural curves. And this is called a humanist sans. The next major step in the world of sans serifs happened in Switzerland in 1957 with the introduction of Helvetica. It has simple curves and is available in many different weights, and some would call it the world's favorite typeface. The world of typography changed forever with the introduction of the computer. There were a few difficult years of crude pixel type due to the primitive screen technology. But then technology evolved and computers began to allow for the creation of thousands of beautiful typefaces. And the odd dud. But now anyone has the freedom to create their own unique typeface. And that is the history of typography.
All right, so that was worth it, you guys, because that's some real deal stuff. I'm trying to make this big again. Does anybody know how to do it? Oh, well, we're not gonna get full screen this version. Okay, so the next part is, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. So the next part is type anatomy. The anatomy of type describes graphic elements that make up a letter. Knowing the anatomy of type allows designers to make choices that complement their overall design. Once you understand the rules, it is easier to break them. And as designers, we are able to modify and even create our own type to properly convey the intended message, whether it is the client's or our own. So this is kind of hard to see, so I'm going to take you here, which is a little breakdown of all the different parts of letters, which there's so many. I don't know if this excites any of you guys like it does me, but I love it. This one is the total. So just so you guys know a little bit about that. What's next? Typeface versus font. So a typeface is a family of fonts sharing aesthetic characteristics, whereas a font is a subset of characters in a specific size, weight, style, and character set. Legibility is a make or break aspect, especially in branding and marketing. So in order to optimize legibility, we should try to stick to a particular font selection. And here's a few rules. Learn the basics. There's a lot of basics. One of the biggest is kerning, which I don't do, but once you do it, it's so worth it. Choose a font to communicate with your market. Try to limit your fonts. There's so many, so it's exciting, but we have to prioritize our readability and stick to the grammar rules. It helps to show attention to detail, and then always, of course, practice. This is a link to some responsive typography tips, but we don't gotta go there. But if you do web design, you might want to go there. Okay, this is the part that might put you guys to sleep, but this is some real deal stuff. Font licensing. So the types of font licenses are the desktop font license, the web font license, Adobe font licenses, and I don't know what else is on this one. Maybe server font licenses. And these are all very different. So depending on what you're using the font for, you want to make sure you get the right license. They all have their own reasons, and some have expiration dates in different terms. So here's a list of some more, because there's a whole handful. Skirt. So the unlimited font licenses and the exclusive font licenses are pricey, but depending on your client and what you're doing, they may be worth the cost. And then just remember that with free font licenses, sometimes you get what you pay for in quality and finishes, and you have to make sure the licenses are going to carry over to your commercial work. But Google Fonts has a ton of fonts that can be downloaded for different uses. And then there's kinetic typography, which is the combination of text and motion to convey or evoke a particular idea or emotion in the form of animation. So you guys may be familiar with Saul Bass's intro to North by Northwest and Psycho. And those are examples of kinetic typography. And it can be created using Apple Motion, Adobe Animate, as well as Adobe After Effects. And if you're not really familiar with kinetic typography. Here's a few examples we can just breeze through. That's the one, but stuff like this. Ooh. So it just gives it some spazoos. That's a cool one. What? Oh, pretty snifty. Look at that. What? I thought that was so cool. So as you can probably hear, I don't know, you can get lost with all this typography. So that's that. I'll get back over here. And then you can follow these links here if you want to have some fun. It's font games and even a card game about typography, which really kind of gives you the personality traits of the font. It's neat if you're interested in those kind of things. And then here are my references. And that's all, folks.
Yay!
Thank you very much. Should I stop sharing here,
Sure,
Craig?
sure.
Okay,
Nice job.
no problem. Sorry if
Wow.
it's a little slow, you guys. But typography is really neat, and I don't know, I could spend hours looking at it. I love it.
Yeah, typography is amazing. If you're lucky enough to take a good typography class, that can really enhance your love of letter forms.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not
Oh,
me.
I thought you were going to say something.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, there's. I did want to mention this to you guys, and if you don't know about this, Latisse, this will be a big one for you. Let me find.
Also, you guys, there's a website I meant to tell you about called Creative Block. It's not about typography. It's just graphic design and web design in general. It's off the chain. You guys should check it out if you're looking for anything in art. It has all kinds of stuff.
Have you heard about the film called Helvetica?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Okay, let's watch this trailer.
I'm asking you to make a donation right now to have your gift.
Forgive the ad here. Okay, let's see.
Gonna definitely have to check that out.
Yeah,
See how far you can take a font with different weights and
I know,
size?
it's insane. It's insane. So, Livia, did you say you've heard of this before?
I saw that.
Oh yeah, is it good?
It's very good.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. So we have a recommendation there, and looks like it's in several places. iTunes, I would definitely check places like Netflix and Amazon Prime and whatever your favorite
Yeah,
streaming service is. I haven't seen it yet. I heard about it, but I'd like to see it. It looks good.
thank you.
Okay, so let's go back to, okay.
Trevor. Helvetica.
I like that ad that said, for crystal meth, call blah, 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 or whatever. Let's see. Trevor says, that's a fun presentation. I can't get enough about typography. Helvetica, the font your drug dealer loves. Okay, let's see.
On his
All right.
bed.
So I am on the wrong page here. Sorry, let me go to the right page. Oh no, I'm on the right page. I was just too low. Okay. All right. So what I think I want to do with you guys today is demonstrate some different things that you can do in Adobe Animate that could potentially be used on this ad project that you're doing now or on future ones. And so I wanted to demonstrate these three concepts here. One is making working tabs in an ad, and the tabs would be like tabs you see at the almost like menu items you see at the top of a website, like these little guys up here can be considered tabs. So I want to show you how you can make tabs, working tabs in Animate. I wanted to show you how to start and stop a movie clip via frames, and also make sure you know how to link to a website or downloadable content. So what you can do is open up Adobe Animate, and if for some reason you're not in a place where you can do that right now, you can also just observe. But then you might consider going into the file that we're using for this project, which is File, New is how you start. And then you go to, in this screen, you go to Ads and you choose what happened to my ad? Oh, inline rectangle, 300 by 250, and hit Create. And this is going to make an HTML5 canvas ad for you at a very common size, and it'll be the ad size we're using for this project. So let's start with the first one, which is making tabs. So the concept is this: you could make an ad that has different places that you could click to see different parts of the ad, right? So let's start by giving our ad a background color, right? So we can go modify, document, and you can click on stage color here and change the background color to anything you like. We're working on a Halloween ad now, so maybe I don't know, maybe I'd make like a dark, I'm thinking a dark brown or a dark, here's kind of a cool orangey color or whatever. That's kind of a Halloween-y color maybe. So you can pick whatever color you want for the back of your ad. And then let's go ahead and make the tabs, right? So what we can do is we can double click on this layer up here and we can call it tabs. And this is where we can make our tabs. Now I'll just make 3 just because it's easy, right? And I might make my tabs black because of course black and orange are very Halloween colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this this little rectangle tool here. I'm going to choose black as my foreground color, and then I'm just going to click and drag out. Oh, it looks like it's kind of a brown color that I picked. Oh, I know why. It's because my alpha is set at like 60%. So that's black at 60%. It looks kind of brown. Actually, to tell you the truth, I kind of like the way it looks, so I think I'm going to stick with it. But anyway, what I would do is drag this out and basically try and get a tab. Let's see, how would I make 3 of them that are all the same size? What I would probably do is make 3 of these and then stretch them all out one after the other. So let's see. Let me show you what I mean by that. So you make a rectangle that you think is approximately 1/3 of the size of this. Actually, wait a minute. Isn't this thing, is it 300 wide? Yeah, it's 300 wide. So that means that makes it really easy. I could just make this 100 wide. Now, if you open your info palette, where is info? It'll show you how wide your thing is that you made, and then you can just click on it, and ooh, as long as the info palette doesn't go away, let's see, info. I'm going to drag this down so it doesn't fall away when I start dragging this. But anyway, you see how when you drag it in, it changes the number, the width of this. So if I make this thing approximately 100, I'll go 99.95. That's close enough to me, for me. then I can stick it here, and then that will be 1. And then I can, let's see, I think I want to make this, do I want to make this a symbol? Yeah, okay. Modify, convert to symbol, and I'll call this, let's see, do I want it to be a button? It doesn't have to be a button. Well, I guess it should be a button. Let's make it a button, and let's call this BTN1, or maybe BTN left is a little more accurate. Okay. Now, the reason I made that a symbol was because I can then move this around without having all those little dots and everything to worry about. Now, what I could do now is this little button will appear in my library. I can open up, go Window, Library, and you see button left appears in my library, right? So what I can do now is I can drag button left onto my screen. There's another instance of button left, right? Now this is going to sound kind of weird, but I don't want this to be associated with button left anymore, because I want each one of these to be a little different. So I'm going to do something kind of weird here. I'm going to break this apart. I'm going to go modify, break apart, so that it's no longer that button left symbol. And now I'm going to turn it back into a symbol and give it a different name. So modify, convert to symbol, and I'm going to call this BTN middle, or mid for middle. Okay, and so see how that makes a completely different button? Because if you if you take a symbol and you copy it, all of those symbols are related, and I didn't want that. I want them to be separate. So okay, so now I've got my 2 buttons up here, right? And then I'm going to do the same thing yet again. I'll click on my button left and drag it here. I'll go modify, break apart, and then right after that, modify, convert to symbol, and call this BTN right. Okay, now I know my numbers weren't perfectly exact, but if I drag this over, it should be pretty close to the full width, and then I can always make some changes to it if I have to. Let's see. Oh, I got super lucky, almost. I almost got super lucky. It's just a little bit off there. Now, if you want to, in a case like this, it's weird. I wonder why there's a little thing showing. Oh, I know what it is. If you're one over the other one, it's because it's because my color is semi-transparent. These actually have to be right up against each other, or else you'll see a line. Yeah, there it is. Okay, and then I notice now that I didn't get it quite to the top, so I'm going to do that like this. And well, I guess I have to go one more. Okay, now you guys can use whatever methods you want to try and get, your tabs to line up and to be the shape and the color that you want and everything. Now, for these, obviously you can't tell these are separate tabs because they're all the same color, right? But if I choose the middle one and make it a different color, it's going to differentiate all 3 of them. So this one is black at 60%, but if I open this up, you can take a color and you can make it semi-transparent just by clicking on this word alpha and changing this number here, right? So if I change this number back to 100, well, of course, nothing happens. Let's see. Let me try it again. Okay. All right. So it's not playing nice, probably because it's a symbol. So I can change it in what's called symbol isolation mode. If I double click on it, it takes me right into the symbol. And let's see here. If I click on it here and change it to black, let's see. Okay, so it's clearly black in here. And now I can go back to the main movie by clicking on this, and yes, it's turned black. So, in that case, because I turned it into a symbol, in order to edit the symbol, I have to go into the isolation mode by double clicking on it. right? Now, if you guys have any questions while we're doing this, please feel free to ask. Okay, so I've got 3 symbols at the top that I can use. I made them buttons, right? You can put some text on them, right? Because they're already symbols, you might want to put the text on them. It's up to you where you want to put the text. You might want to put the text on the actual symbol itself. And in that case, you would double click on it, and now you're in the actual symbol. And you could put the text in there, or if you don't really care, you could put the text on a separate layer. I'm going to go ahead and put the text on a separate layer because I don't really care. I'm not going to make my text change color or anything like that. So I'm going to make a new layer above, and I'm going to call it like button underscore text. And then I'm just going to put some text for all these. I'm going to use white because then if I do change the symbol colors, you'll probably always be able to see it. So I'll say masks. Let's see. My font is super big here. And now it's off the screen, so I have to, all right, let's go really small. Okay, so let's see. If you want to, of course, center something, if you make the box as wide as the button here, you're going to have more luck centering it. And you do that by grabbing this little thing in the corner. And so as long as I get my left-hand side over there, if I click on my type tool and now I drag this, I can line this right up to that edge. And then I should be pretty much centered, right? Okay, so since this is just text, I can copy and paste this because now it's exactly the size of the button, right? So edit, copy, edit, paste in place, I guess will work. And then I'll click on this, shift, and just drag it over here. And then I can call this candy. What's the third thing that we associate with Halloween? Masks, candy, what else?
Costumes.
Costumes. Good, good. Okay. Okay, so now we've got 3 tabs or buttons at the top of our ad. Now, once again, this is not something you guys have to do. I'm not making a requirement on your ads that you have multiple buttons. I'm just kind of showing you this because, and you don't even have to use them as tabs at the top of your ad. You could just have a button on your ad if you want to go to a new part of your ad, right? Basically what it does, it almost turns your ad into like a mini web page where you can have multiple pieces of information for people to see. Okay, so I've got these 3. Each one is a button, right? And what's going to happen is when somebody clicks on each of these buttons, I want them to go to a specific place in my timeline, right? Now I can make it really easy on myself. I can make this be the first frame, which is what everybody sees, and then I can make it so when you click on this, you go to the second frame. When you click on this, you go to the third frame, and when you click on this, you go to the fourth frame. Now that's assuming that that this front page is not one of the 3 links here. In other words, there's sort of a fourth home page, which, if I do that, you can't even get back to it from these guys here. You'd have to have an extra button here that says go back to home. So let's say maybe I'll just make I'll make this the masks page, and then make the other 2 be the other 2 pages you could go to. Now, if I wanted to make this a mask page, I might want to take this this button here and change its color so that it's orange, so that it looks like we're on that page, right? So what I can do, I can double click on this, and that's going to take me into the symbol edit mode, the isolation mode. I can click on this, which is the color of this little mask here. Click on my eyedropper tool, and then maybe click on this orange here, right? And now, when I click off of this, that's orange. And so when I go back to the main scene, now it looks like I'm on the masks page, right? So, and then we have candy and costumes, and we could make it so that when you go to these other pages, they're the page that has the orange tab, so it looks like you're on that page. Like maybe when you go to candy, this turns black. And when you go to costumes, you know, this is black and this is brown and that's orange. You know, maybe these are the three colors we're working with, right? Okay, so now that we've determined that, we're going to leave masks as the first frame. Candy is going to be the second frame, and costumes is going to be the third. So what I need to do is this layer at the bottom, which is called tabs, I know that I need that to exist for at least 3 frames. So I can go down to my third frame here, I can right click, and I can just do insert frame. And what that means is it's going to have all of that stuff is going to be on all 3 frames. Now, when you think about it, you know, that might not even be the way you want to go. Actually, now that I think about it, normally you would extend your background to, you know, your final layer to exist over 3 frames. But now that I think about it, each of these frames is going to look different. Each of the tabs is going to be different on every single frame. So I'm actually going to undo that, Command Z, because like I said, it's going to be different on every single frame. So maybe a better idea is to take the button text and copy that and paste that in on all 3 frames. And then, or I'm sorry, yeah, it would be the tabs and the button text, and then change it on each of the frames. So let me show you what I mean. Let me start with the tabs here. I've got this selection of all 3 of these, right? Now, if I go in here to the frame right after that, and I right click and I say insert keyframe, what it does is it drops in the tabs, which are the 3 colors here, on a new frame. But these 3 colors are completely different than these 3 because I've made a new keyframe. And what that will allow me to do is make changes to them. So for example, if I go to the second frame and I double click on this black here to go into symbol isolation mode, I can change that to orange, right? And then I can go back to my main frame from this arrow here. I can click on this frame here and double click on it to go into symbol isolation mode. Click on my color chip here and change it to black. Okay, well that didn't work. So let me try selection and then this eyedropper tool and then select black, and then that will work. Okay, so now on my second frame here, this is now black and that's orange and that's brown. And of course, the thing that I could extend over all 3 frames is actually the top, which is the text. If I right click on my third frame and I say insert frame, we're going to have that text, which is going to exist over all 3. But the thing that's going to change is every time you go from one to the next, it's going to change the colors, right? Now, okay, I can see that I made a mistake here, which is I actually have the exact same symbols on all 3. And so when I change this to orange on the second one, it changed it on the first one too. So what that tells me is I actually need to have a completely different symbol on the second frame than the first. Otherwise, they're always going to look the same. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to break these apart and recreate them as separate symbols. So let me do that. Let me take this one and the one that's orange right now in the center. Let me break it apart. So I'm going to break it apart. Oh shoot, I didn't want to break apart all 3. I just want to break apart this one. Modify, break apart. Okay, and then I'll give this a new name. I'll convert it into a symbol. Let's see, modify, convert to symbol. And I'll call this one, let's see, BTN mid 2. So it's the middle button on the second frame, right? Okay, now, so what that means is that can be that there. But if I go back to the first frame, this button here should have a different name. If I look at my library, let's see. Okay, that one says button mid 2, which is not what I want. And if I go to the second one, it says button mid 2. So what I can do is go to the first frame, click on this, and I can do, let's see, I should be able to swap this symbol. So what happens is you click on a symbol, right now it's saying button mid 2, and I want it to be button mid. And what you do is you click on this little arrows here, and you go swap symbol, and you want to change, I want that to be button mid, and so I hit OK. That's so weird. I'm not really sure why. When I click on this, it's highlighting button mid 2. Wait, let me see something. Okay. I guess for whatever was highlighted in here was not what I was clicking on, because it actually was already button mid. It actually was button mid, so it did work. So this is button mid. It should highlight this when you click on it. It should highlight in here, but it's not. And then over here, it's button mid 2. If I click on it and then do swap symbols, it's showing me that's button mid 2. So actually, they are two different symbols. Okay. So what I want, though, is I want the button mid 2 to be orange on the second frame, so it looks like you picked that. But on the first frame, I want just button mid to be black. So I'm going to double click on this, click on my eyedropper tool, and let's see. Click on this, sorry. Click on that. Choose my eyedropper tool, go to black, and I don't want a stroke on this, so I'm going to kill the stroke. And so now it's black, so now I can go back to the main site here. Okay, and then for this, I got to double click on this on frame 1, select it, choose the orange, and then go back to my main movie. Okay, so that's been a little bit more of a task than I realized, because every symbol has to be different, or else it changes when you change it. If you have the exact same symbol on frame 1 as frame 2, and you change it on frame 2, it's going to change it on frame 1. So, okay, so what that means now is I have to take right now, this is button left, this is button mid, and that's button right. But when I go to my second frame, this one is still button left. And you can see that if I click here, it's still button left. So now I'm going to have to turn this into button left 2 so that it can be a different color without changing the color of the first one. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to break it apart, modify, break apart. I'm going to turn it back into a symbol, convert to symbol. And I'm going to call this BTN left 2. So I'm creating a numbering system that makes sense to me. The first ones are on the first frame, second ones are on the second frame. Okay, and now on this second frame, I want this one to be black. So I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to choose black as the color here. And then I'm going to go back to scene 1. Okay, so now I'm actually in good shape, at least with these first two. I've got the masks on the first frame, and then candy there. And then when I click to the second one, it shifts the orange over here. And these two are now completely separate buttons, completely different symbols from the first two. So I don't have to worry about them changing the colors. Now, the last thing I have to do is change this one. But this one can be the same on 1 and 2 because it doesn't change at all in those two frames. The only place it has to change is on frame 3, right? So on frame 3, I can insert a keyframe, right? What it's going to do is it's going to insert the same keyframe as frame 2, right? Now, what I'm going to want to do on frame 3 here is I'm going to want to take, I'm going to want to break this one apart and turn that orange, right? So I have to break it apart so I can become a different symbol. So I'm going to click on it, modify, break apart, modify, convert to symbol. I'm going to call this BTN right 3. And then I'll double click on it, click on my eyedropper tool and select the orange, and then go back to my first scene. Okay, so now that button is perfect, right? But we have a little problem here because this one is still orange, right? Now this one is orange because on frame 2 it was orange, right? But on frame 1 it was black, right? So I have a choice here on this last one here. I can break this apart and turn it brown, which is probably the easiest thing to do, or I could do a couple other things. Well, let's break it apart and turn it brown, turn it into a new symbol. So we're going to click on it on frame 3 here, modify, break apart, and then turn this brown. Now we're going to need that brown color, which is black at 60%. So what I can do is I can select black, I can make it black like that, and then I can go to this alpha and change it to 60 and hit enter. And then with any luck it's brown. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is turn this into a symbol because I broke it apart, right? But I haven't turned it into a new symbol yet. So I'm going to modify, convert to symbol, and I'm going to call this BTN mid 3 because it's on the 3rd frame, and now it's good. Okay, so I know that was a lot of work, but we achieved having it look like this is a little tab that takes you to this page, this is a tab that takes you to this page, and this is a tab that takes you to this page. And every one of those bad boys is like a different symbol, with the exception of this one, which is the same symbol twice here. But it doesn't matter as long as we make it so that each one of these is linked to the proper place, then we're okay, right? So now comes the linking. Now comes where we're going to link all this stuff to each other, right? So what we're going to do, we'll go back to frame 1. We'll click on this first button here, and we want to make it so that when you, in the first frame here, when you click on this, nothing should happen because you're going to be on the very first frame, so we're okay there, right? However, when you click on the very first frame, when you click on the second one, it should take you to the second frame. So what we have to do is we have to make this a button that that takes you to the second frame. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to click on this button, and what we're going to do is we're going to give it an instance name so that we can use ActionScript with it and use it to, when somebody clicks on this, to send them to the second frame, right? So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to give it an instance name. I'm going to call it BTN mid, and it's completely valid to name it the same thing as the button, right? And then I'm going to open up my actions window. So I'm going to go Window, Actions, right? And now we can see our actions there. I'm going to click on this little code snippets symbol here, and that's going to open up my code snippets. I'm going to open up the HTML5 code snippets, and I'm going to open up timeline navigation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose click to go to frame and stop. So I'm going to double click on this, and it's going to put all this code in here. The top part is all just comments, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then what it's going to say, it says in this JavaScript code, it says we're adding something called an event listener to this symbol, and what the event listener is listening for is a click. As soon as it hears the click, it's going to execute a function, which is click to go to and stop. So the function is written out right underneath it. It says function click to go to and stop at frame. And then inside there it says go to and stop at frame. And then it lists the frame number 5, but I'm going to put frame number 2. Okay? So what should happen is when somebody clicks on this, it should send them to frame number 2. Okay, so now we have a new layer up there called actions. If somebody clicks on this, it sends them to frame number 2, and they're supposed to stop there. Now, one way that you can test this out is you can always put some text. I like to put text on my pages just to show me where I am. So I can make a new layer here, and I can call this, like page text. And I can click on my type tool and change it to like a white color. And I can just write in here page 2. Just to help me know that I got to the right place, right? Okay, the alpha on that was set to 60, which is why it came out kind of gray. And it's still set to 60. Okay, sorry. Not sure why it didn't take 100% alpha that I just put in there. Wow. Hold on just a second. I'm not entirely certain why when I choose white at 100%, this thing isn't changing. It's pretty weird. Let me try again. So right now I've got white at 100%. Maybe I just had to retype it with that color chosen. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So here's page 2, right? I can copy this text and go back to, and also, yeah, clearly I have to move this little dot over to the right so that that only exists on page 2, right? And then I have to go to page 1 and paste that in the same place, but here I'll call it page 1. And then I can go to page 3 here, and let's see, I got to go back and copy it again, I guess. Click on it, edit, copy, go back to page 3, edit. Wow, it's not, oh, I got to right click and insert a blank keyframe, and then paste in place, and then change this to page 3. Okay, so now I have 3 pages where the tabs change, but it also says page 1, 2, and 3, so it's easy for me to see what page I'm on, right? Now, theoretically, if I preview this movie, I will need to put a stop command on the very first frame so that it won't go anywhere when it gets to there. When I click on this button, it should take me to the second frame, and I'll need to put a stop command on that so it doesn't move anywhere. And then same here, I'll need to put a stop command on the third frame too. So let me click on this first frame and then come down here to my timeline and double click stop at this frame. Okay, and you'll see that what it does is it puts in this code called this stop. Now I'm just gonna move that up to the top because that code can be up there and it can just stop the playback head when it gets to that page, right? Let's see, then I can go to the second frame and I can insert a blank keyframe. And on the second frame, I can insert this stop. Then I can go to the third keyframe, insert a blank keyframe, and once again, insert this stop. So what that means is that when you first get to the movie, it should stop on this page. When you click a button to go to this page, it should stop. And when you click a button to go to this page, it should stop. Now, granted, the code for this says to go to the second frame and stop, so I'm kind of doing some redundant stuff here, but I don't trust that it's always going to stop. It might just try to keep playing into the next frame. So I'm just going to leave my this stop on all 3 frames, right? Okay, so let's test this out. When we preview it, we should just see page 1, and then when I click on this button, we should go to page 2, and it should stop. Okay, so we'll save this. First of all, on our desktop, I'll make a new folder. I'll call this animation tabs, and I'll call this tabs, and then I'll test it out. Control test movie in browser. Okay. All right, so we see it did in fact stop on page 1, and then when I roll over this, it changes to a little pointer, and of course I can make it change color too, which would be a good idea. And then when I click on it, it went to page 3 for some bizarre reason, right? I don't know why it did that, but it went to page 3. So it's good to check your code because obviously something's wrong, right? So let's see if we can figure out what it is. So we're on page 1. We click on this button right here, and it looks like this is what the problem was. The code that I dropped in, code that you put in ActionScript, or JavaScript code that you put in, it can either be attached to an object or it can be attached to the frame, right? And what happened was this code right here got attached to the frame itself. So this code about going to page 2 is just on the frame. It's not on the button. So what I got to do is, let's see, this button right here. Okay, it's called button mid, right? And then, oh, I'm sorry. I know what the problem was. It actually worked perfectly. The problem is in JavaScript, the first frame is not frame 1, it's actually frame 0. So if I want to go to the second frame, I have to say that I want to go to frame 1. Okay, so it actually worked perfectly, but I made a mistake because I was thinking about I wasn't thinking about JavaScript, right? So now we're going to test this again, and this time it should work. Okay, so here we are on page 1. We click on this, and it goes to page 2, right? Okay. Now I'm not going to spend any more time on this because I don't want to have you guys get all glazed over with all this code and everything like that. But it would be exactly the same principle you would use for all the other tabs. For tab 3, you would add button to that code. You could give it an instance name. So we could call this btn write, right? And then we could have this selected and say click to go to frame and stop. And then we can once again take out all of the code hints. And then this one, of course, is going to go to frame 2 because this is frame 0, frame 1, and frame 2, right? So then when we test this out, okay, we already know that this one works, so we try this one, and it takes us to page 3. Now, it would take a little time to link all these up because on every single frame, you have to link each one of these buttons separately, right? So right now I've linked all 3 of these in the first frame, but then I'd have to go to the second frame, link this to frame 0, leave this one alone because we're on that page, and link this one to frame 3, and then same here, leave this one alone, link this one to frame 2, and this one to frame 1, this one to frame 0, right? So it's a fair amount of work. And I know it seems like it shouldn't be. There should be some kind of code that you can just drop in and it'll make tabs, right? And maybe there probably is somewhere. But it's good to know how this works and to be able to build it yourself because then you understand how to move around in an animation and get different things to show up on the screen. Okay, like I said, I'm gonna stop there because I don't like to do code too much and have people glaze over and become zombies. Do you guys have any questions about this?
I
Okay.
have a question.
Yes.
Is about the size of the app.
Yeah.
you pick up the size of the ad that you want, and when you open it on the website, you see that it's very, very small. This is an ad that is about 30 seconds, and maybe we can use tabs and buttons. I think it's going to look better, bigger, like those ads that are at the top of the pages that are bigger.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I am fine with you guys using a different size for your ad if you like.
Okay.
Okay? So if you want to use a bigger ad, you can. Some ads, some ads look better as banners, some ads look good as squares, and some look good as really big ads, right?
Yes.
So if any of you folks thinks that there's a different format for your ad that you want to use, please do so. Just please remember to use HTML5 canvas. So in other words, when you go File, New, and then Add, make sure that you choose, let's see. Well, fortunately, everything in here is HTML5 canvas. Now, here's something that may help you guys. Let's say that Livia wants to create an ad. Let's say she wants it to be twice as big as this, but there's no number in here that will let her make it twice as big, right? All she has to do is change the numbers here, to 400 by 400 or whatever, and it will still make an HTML5 ad. It'll just make it the size that she wants it, right? So that's not a problem. You guys can create them whatever size you want. Now, there was a question here. James asked, will this be on YouTube later? That way I can work along with it. Yes, I record all the videos for my classes and I put them on the class website. So this exact video will be on YouTube if you want to follow along. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to stop there unless there's any other questions. Okay. So I think what I want to do, I think I just want to give you the remainder of the period to work on your ads. If you have not yet settled on an idea, please write up a little piece of text, a little paragraph or something describing your idea so we can look at that for the next class. If you've already come up with your idea, then move on to the next step, which is gathering your assets, which would be images and any other text and anything else you want to put on, and start putting together like a little mock-up of your ad so we can see what it looks like. Now you guys know I'm a big fan of this website, Vecteezy, and I went there a little earlier today and got some Halloween stuff. If you're hurting for Halloween choices, if you just go to vecteezy.com and type in Halloween, and I mean hurting for Halloween graphics, you just type in Halloween here and you'll get more than your money's worth. Remember, some of them you have to pay for, which you certainly don't want to do. Anything with a little star here you have to pay for. But there's plenty of things here that don't have stars on them that are pretty cool. And you can just download them and they become vector art that you can open in Illustrator and you can copy and paste it into Adobe Animate. So if you need any cool Halloween stuff, there's this. Of course, there's always, if you want photographs, you can go to cool sites like Unsplash or Pexels or freeimages.com. And these are all, places where you can get cool images. And, you can just type Halloween in there and see what the choices are. Maybe you're looking for something specific, right? Remember that the stuff at the top in the gray you have to pay for. That takes you to another website, iStock Photo, but everything below that is free. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to give you guys the rest of the period to work on your projects. I'm going to turn my video off, but I'll leave my audio on. So if you have a question, you can just pop in and ask it, or you can even ask it on the chat here and I'll answer it. So go ahead and spend a little time working on your ads, and then we'll check back in with you on Thursday and see how you're doing.
Hey,
Sound
Greg,
good?
I have a question.
Yes, Lise.
Hey, I don't know why my ad came in so crazy. Do you think like the formatting's all off and I don't even know if my animations are gonna play? You think it's something to do with
Okay, the fonts screwed up because I don't have the fonts on my computer. That makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you want us to see your actual fonts, you have to break them apart. Um, but that means that you can't use them as fonts anymore. So let me show you an example. If I wanted to send this to you, Latisse, you probably don't have this spooky cat font, right?
Mm-mm.
So what I would do is I would save this file, which has my fonts, and I would call it something like tabs master, right? And then I
Okay.
would save another one, and I would call it something like tabs outline or tabs broken apart or something. So I'll call this tab outlines, right? Now in this one, I could go in, I could click on my font here, and I could go modify, break apart, and then modify, break apart again. And now this is actually a graphic and not a font.
Okay, so I didn't break them apart enough, maybe.
Yeah, and so if you completely break them apart, then when you send it to somebody like me, I can see it in exactly the way you want it to be. But
Okay.
you still have your master file to work on when you want it to be a font. You know what I mean?
And then what do you know could have possibly caused my file to jump up so large?
I
The
don't
image?
know. The only thing that usually happens there is when you're using graphics that are very big memory, like if you're using, 4K graphics, or you're bringing in, high resolution photos and stuff like that from Photoshop. Uh, do you happen to know if any of your images are pretty high res?
Um, I'm sure some of them are. I'll go back through and double check.
Yeah, because what you can do with those is take them into Photoshop and change the resolution to 72 pixels,
Okay.
and then bring them back in. It'll knock the heck out of your file size.
Okay, thank you. And then what about my formatting? Because I noticed my formatting was off on my text. I don't know why it saved like that.
Well, of course, if you
Oh,
fix
is
the
it
font
because of the
issue,
font?
yeah, if you fix that font issue, it should set your formatting back to what you want.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll mess with it. Thank you.
Okay, I did want to give one of our students a chance to introduce themselves. James, would you like to introduce yourself?
Battery. Hello everyone, I'm James Donaldson III, and I'm here to take this class because it's part of my game design, well, gaming simulation major. My main goal is to be a game developer working at an independent game company.
Okay, and how much longer have you got in school, James?
If all goes right, one more semester after this.
Oh,
Wow.
that's perfect.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, James. Thanks for introducing yourself.
You're welcome.
Okay, you guys, so why don't you spend a few minutes working on your ideas, taking them to the next level, and then we'll take a look at what you've done on Thursday.